Hi guys! So this video is a message from the deep sea representing your deepest subconscious. So what is it that your subconscious mind really wants to tell you, really want you to know? That is in one or maybe more of these piles. So we got pile 1, 2, and 3. We got timestamps below and you can just jump down there. And it will take you to the part of the video you need to see. So remember, this is general reading. It's not necessarily everything that fits. Take what resonates and what makes sense. And maybe, if a pile doesn't resonate, try another one. Or maybe that just isn't a message for you in this video. That's okay too. Yeah, I think that's it. So if you haven't picked a pile yet, put the video on pause because I'm going to jump to pile number 1 now. Pile number 1. Let's see what the ocean has for you. Let's do, there's this one first. Water flight. Heaviness lifts, burdens are cast away, and weightlessness. Very interesting. I like that. Queen of Cups. 3 of Cups, that's nice. Let's see what we got here. Gliding through currents, so kind of like going with the flow, right? With a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. Is that in the frame? Just a second. There we go. Clearing the excess. Yeah, that makes sense with heaviness lifts, casting away that burdens, right? You are entering a transitional phase and would benefit from clearing away excess clutter, whether it is in your physical body or your physical space. Interesting. Resilience. There is no need to rush or push. This is a time to take things as they come. You have the determination and patience to handle what is happening. I really like this. The gift of neutrality. Balance is at work in your life. Balance is at work in your life. Yin and yang are opposites in energy but reside side by side to create the gift of neutrality. So we need both the feminine and the masculine energy. Disengage from outcomes. Let go so you can open yourself to the highest love that you deserve. Find ways to release worry or any unresolved lack of forgiveness you might be holding on to. Again, burdens are lifting, right? 2 of Swords. So I think this is actually a pretty forward, simple reading here that, like, the depth, I think you're already in the process, actually, like the depths of you, right? Deep down in your emotions, you are already releasing something. You are already creating. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Like the message isn't that you need to do a lot of stuff. Actually, I feel like you're already doing it. We got the 2 of Swords, which can be conflict. So I feel like you are working on something here that. Okay, I feel the messages that you've been working on getting into balance. You've been working on releasing the conflict, going into that Queen of Cups energy, right? The Cups is representing of emotions. The Queen is representing of the mature feminine energy. So balancing your emotions, letting go of whatever conflict is inside of you or with another person. You want, like, 3 of Cups is celebrations, right? It's coming together. It's having a party. It's looking at the bright side of things. And I feel like the message here is that you're doing great. Whatever it is that you're working on, maybe it's a conflict with yourself, maybe it's a conflict with another person, it's being resolved, at least inside of you. So it could be a conflict with another person that not necessarily is being resolved with the other person, but within you it is. So this other person might have wronged you, and instead of you looking for the apology, you're kind of finding that peace within yourself, so you don't need the apology, right? I don't know if you ever tried this. I tried this at one time, like last summer. I had a very good friend, and we've been friends for a long time, and suddenly, out of nowhere, she just ghosted me. Uh, and I was like, okay, wow. And so I thought to myself, okay, that's not the first time someone ghosts me. Like, I think all of us have tried that. So I decided that I didn't want to find resolution and peace outside of myself. I wanted to just say to myself, okay, so if she's ghosting me, do I even want this friendship anymore? No, I don't. So, you know, I can make peace with myself. It's not a good way to end things if that's what you wanted, but how can I deal with this, right? How can I deal with it without dragging her into it? Because obviously she can't handle whatever I would put her way, because then she wouldn't have ghosted me in the first place. Like, we weren't in an argument or anything. The last thing I sent to her, the last thing she sent to me was her renovating her dining table, and I was like, oh, send more pictures. I really like that, right? And she just never read that one, and she never came back to me, and that was so weird. We talked like several times a week at that point, and visited her a lot. So yeah, so there wasn't really, like, I knew we weren't like frenemies or whatever, and well, if we were, it was something that I was not aware of. Maybe she's heard something, but that never really crossed my mind. I just really, stuck with on my stayed on my own island, and asked myself, okay, what do I need to resolve this with myself? Like, she's ended the friendship, clearly. And the funny thing is, I found resolution within myself, and about 6 months later, she texted me, "Hi, I know we had a bit of a break here," and I just went back to her and I said, "No, you ghosted me. Like, I'm not doing this shit, right?" She ghosted me, and she's like, "Yeah, and I'm sorry. A lot of things are going on. It had nothing to do with you, and I'm really sorry, and I want to meet up again." And I said, I'm not gonna pursue this friendship anymore. That's over. I'm not being friends with anybody who can't use 5 minutes to text me and say my life is whatever in 6 months, right? We were friends. We were friends. We weren't just acquaintances. We were friends. And I understand that sometimes, like, if depression hits or whatever, but then just don't assume I'm standing ready on the other side, because it would have taken 5 minutes to not drag me into that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, and it was nice for her to own up. But the point here is, sorry for the rambling. The point here is that when she gave me that apology, it wasn't giving me anything, because I resolved it on my own. So I think a lot of times with other people, we seek that apology from them because we feel that gives us redemption for the wrong that they did us, right? But sometimes they don't even think they did us wrong. Other times they're so avoidant they can't look at whatever they did that did us wrong, right? They can't because of shame or something like that. Either way, whatever it is, it's like, if you resolve it within yourself, it doesn't really matter if they come back with an apology, because you already fixed it with yourself. Right? And with doing that, with fixing it with myself, I think that made me more inclined to not go into this friendship again. I think if I had been waiting on her apology and she came with it, I would be like, okay, finally I got it. Finally we can be friends again, kind of, right? Or try again or whatever. But I was just, no, I ended this a long time ago because you kind of ended it. So I just resolved it with myself. And that was so nice. And I don't know what's going on with you. This is a general reading, but there's something about here, like gliding through the currents, right? And clearing the excess. You're doing something in your life at the current moment that is lifting your burdens and making you more light. It can be within yourself, right? Old trauma wounds, or how you speak to yourself, how you treat yourself. There's something here about physical also. Where was that? Something about, what was that? That was here. Clearing away excess clutter, whether it is in your physical body or your physical space, right? So it can be around you in relationships, or it can be inside of you, or it can be physical, like losing weight, right? Changing your diet and doing more exercise or whatever, or changing your environment, moving to a total new place or whatever, there is something here. The message is that you're on the way, you're doing great, and just keep up the good work because you're going into balance. And I really like that this card, the gift of neutrality, it just sticks out from all the others, right? All this blue here, and then we got this red, really showing me that the biggest message of this reading here is that you are balancing yourself. You are getting rid of that fighting energy and moving into, with the Queen of Cups here, moving into that Three of Cups energy, right? You're lifting those burdens. So I think that's, and I see this picture here, makes me feel like, because it's down at the bottom, makes me feel like you're really going deep. So you're doing great work. And I like that, because I like this going down to the bottom, because this is a reading from the deep sea, right? Meaning your deepest emotions. So it's kind of like we're down at the bottom here, and we're bringing up, taking with us from the subconscious to the conscious, the things that we need to look at to get rid of, right? Because we can't get rid of them if we don't know they're there. So it's kind of like you're deep diving into whatever it is that you need to look at to realize you don't need it anymore. So that could definitely be childhood trauma, for example, processing those and healing those. Anyhow, the short message of this is that you're doing great. You keep up the good work. You're doing just as you're supposed to do. Yeah, definitely. So, pile number 1, that's your message. If this resonated, please give the video a thumbs up, and we can get out to more people who needs to hear this. Until next time, take care. Bye. Pile number 2. I'm a little curious about this one because we've only got 3 cards. The other pile's got a lot more cards. So let's see. Maybe we need more cards, but let's see what the deep sea has to tell you. The present. Gift, treasure, revelation of own value and nowness. I love it. Love it. Total submission. Don't be afraid to totally immerse yourself in a project, interest, or goal. Give it 100% of your energy, and you may find what your life has been lacking. Interesting. The world. Wow. Okay, I think that's a pretty clear message actually here, that being in the present, going deep within a project, and I think there's something about life purpose here is actually finding yourself is what I'm hearing. So going from the outer focus to the inner focus here, and going like total submission, right? Deep dive, and being in the present. I think that maybe you've had, how do you say that? A habit. You've had a habit of maybe staying in the past for too long, or bringing the past with you, or maybe you're that kind of future person that dreads the future, or looking forward to the future. When I get that, then I'm gonna be happy, right? There's something here about whether you're in the past or in the future a lot. It's something about going into the now, being present, being aware, feeling yourself. That's kind of when we're focused on the past or on the future or another person or something outside of ourselves like that. We move the focus from ourselves, right? And we do that as a coping mechanism because we can't really deal with the emotions that we're having, or the thinking, the thoughts, right? Whatever it is, that's something inside of us that it's easier to focus on someone else or something else than it is to focus on our own stuff. And I feel that's definitely the message here, that you need to go within. You need to stop focusing on, you need to really practice being in the now is what I'm hearing. Really, really practice it, right? So when you're eating, for example, don't do anything else at the same time. It's fine to be with other people. Don't watch television. Don't sit with your phone. Don't read a book. Eat and just eat, right? Or maybe sit outside if the weather's for it and eat, right? Be more present and then you can... This exercise, I did it once with a raisin. It was very cool, actually. You take the raisin, you can take any kind of food, but the raisin is because it's so structured. So the first thing you do is you look at the raisin. You touch it with your fingers. How does it feel? Then you smell the raisin, right? And when you're done smelling the raisin, you put it in your mouth, or you could put it on your lips first to make another step. Then you put it in your mouth. You don't chew. You just have it in your mouth and feel it with your tongue. And then you start chewing, and then you start tasting. So there's every step. You are present for every step. And I tell you, I never experienced eating when like that as when I ate that raisin. That was so crazy, you guys. So I definitely try that. You can do it with anything. It's just raisin has that structure. Okay, let's see what we got here. Two of Swords. What's this? Seven of Swords. Three of Wands. Nine of Pentacles and Death. Yeah, definitely a transformation here. I feel like I have to split this up. Just a second. Okay. Okay, there we go. So Death is underneath the World here. So this is the past, this is the present, and this is kind of the future. So we got Two of Swords here, which is about an argument or a conflict or something like that. And I really like it in this deck that we see the swords are broken, and we got this kind of like contract here also being torn, which always tells me like this is whatever conflict was there is not there anymore, whether it was with someone else or it was with yourself. The contract has been torn. So whatever, like if it was with someone else, there might have been a soul contract, but that contract is torn now. So that person can be released, and doesn't have to be a part of your life anymore. Or maybe the conflict that you had with another person can be released, so you can move forward in that kind of whatever relationship you have, right? Or it can be with yourself, healing some kind of trauma, or how you see yourself, perceive yourself, self-love, stuff like that. So something here it's in the past, so it has already, like, I feel like you're stepping out of it. So it is kind of resolved, but you're still just stepping out of the energy. And that's the thing about, if you're too much in the past, you're going to linger in an energy that isn't there anymore. Because it is resolved, the contract has been torn, you need to move on. There's no reason to stay stuck in that energy. Seven of Swords is about some kind of sketchy energy. It's usually depictive of a guy looking away, with five of the seven swords, just like a thief in the night, right? To me, in this deck, though, it's kind of like the Ace of Swords and the Six of Swords. I've never seen this card like this before, but I'm seeing that now. So we got the Ace of Swords here, new beginnings, right? Swords can represent the truth as well as it representing the mental energy. So there's a truth here, new beginning, a truth, and the Six of Swords usually depicts a boat sailing away from the high seas to calmer waters, right? So there's a process here that's sailing away, moving away from this energy with this new beginning, because you realize some kind of truth. And that leads to this transformation. Death represents transformation. And for you to really embrace the now, go into the now, embrace yourself is what I'm hearing as well. So you're making that deep dive into yourself and getting to know yourself. And instead of putting your energy on other people, you're taking that energy home, right? Three of Wands. Going for the treasure is kind of what I feel here. It's beautiful, beautiful card. So let's say you're the seagull, right? And you're flying up here, and you're seeing there's this stream of fish, and this fish is just flashing, right? That sticks out. So it's, to me, this is going for your goal. And so the seagull is a bird, right? We will say that a bird belongs in the sky. So it's kind of out of its comfort zone in the water. A seagull is built to do this, of course, but as a bird, it's not, right? as birds in general are not. So there's something about going out of your comfort zone, and again, the water is representing of emotion. So going deep within your emotions, we have that total submission, right? Going deep, and so this fish here lighting up is something that needs to come to the surface. Something in the subconscious mind that you need to deep dive, go down and get and take it to the surface, bring it to the surface so you can take a look at it, so you can heal it, right? So all these little fishes here representing blockages or trauma or anything unhealed, right? That is actually disturbing your subconscious, which is affecting your life in general, because we are governed by, I think it's 90% of what we do or say or think is subconscious. So it's only like 10% that we got control over, right? So we need to bring things to the conscious mind in order to take a look at it, to heal it, to re-traumatize, not to re-traumatize, to untraumatize. I don't know what I was gonna say there, but with the re-traumatize, I just want to say that you can't do it if you're not ready. That's kind of the message here, is what I'm feeling. You are ready, you just put it off for far too long. So you are ready to look at these things, and it kind of will come natural. I feel that if you need a spiritual guide for it, or a meditation, or a healer, or a clairvoyant, whatever, they will kind of pop up into your life. Maybe in your Facebook feed, maybe a friend of a friend. Maybe you're traveling 1 week to Italy, and there's a tarot reader. Let's go in and see what you gotta say, right? Something like that. So whatever you need support with, it will show up in your life, and you just have to follow that. Just that's not that easy as that always, but yeah. And with that, we get the outcome here is the nine of this is Nine of Cups. I read it as the Nine of Pentacles, but Nine of Cups, both very positive cards. So yeah, wish fulfillment, everything you need. We got all of this abundance, right? And this little Arctic fox snuggling up, like very comfortable and secure and safe, right? So it is safe for you to start this transformation and start looking at yourself. And you're not being selfish because you're doing that. Actually, you're being unselfish, because everything that we haven't resolved yet, it's bleeding into our life, affecting us, and therefore affecting other people. So let's say you have a unhealed trauma with abandonment wound, right? So every time, let's say you're dating this guy or girl, whatever you're into, and this person isn't like, they're taking. Let's say you have an on-off text. No, you're texting, and you've been doing that for days, maybe weeks, and then suddenly they are not answering you for like 6 hours, and you're like, oh my god, they're abandoning me, right? They're ghosting me, or whatever, or you can't get a hold of them, and in reality, they just. Maybe their phone ran out of battery, or they got hung up at work, or they're busy, or whatever it is, right? But because because you already established this kind of like, we're used to we are used to writing each other, right? And then suddenly you're going off, then that triggers your abandonment wound, and you react to that trigger by lashing out, like after 6 hours, dude, what's going on, and blah blah blah, and then you're not getting answer. Are you ghosting me? Okay, asshole. And then it escalates, and then when this person comes back, or like, wow, okay, that escalated quickly. I just ran out of phone battery, and then you're like, oh fuck, right? So it's not selfish to look at yourself like that. It's not selfish to focus on yourself and your trauma like that, or whatever unhealed wound you have, because when you have the unhealed wound, you're gonna get triggered, and you're gonna react in a way that isn't good for you or other people, right? So we need to take a look at ourselves. We need to draw that energy within and focus on ourselves, and not put that responsibility on other people that they need to fulfill us, right? Yeah. So that's kind of interesting, because in pile number 1, I felt like the message was something that they were already doing. I feel like in this pile number 2, I don't feel like, well, it's a general reading, but for most of you, I don't feel like you're doing this. If you are, you need to do it more. Okay, this is the message. You need to do it more. You need to be more present, more focused on yourself, more deep diving, more transformation, right? Yeah. So that's what I got for you, pile number 2. If this makes sense, if this resonates, please give the video a thumbs up so we get out to more people who need to hear this. And until next time, take care. Bye. Pile number 3 shows this seashell. Let's take a look at the message from the deep dive within. Okay, let's do this first. 10 of Wands. Okay, heavy burdens. We got Atlantis, rapid development, excellence, and success. That's a nice card. We got falling in love, kissing the divine in another, in yourself. Okay, so this is not necessarily another person. Well, let's see what else we got. We got experiments, manipulation of nature, forcing change, cruelty in the pursuit of knowledge, and arrogance. That's a pretty scary card. That's so, these energies are so different. I want to put this girl in the middle, actually. It's kind of like we got the dark and the light energies, and somehow we need to get this coming together. That would make a rapid development. Very interesting. I'm curious about this 10 of Wands here. Childlike devotion. You are a multi-talented, complex being. Embrace and love who you are. I love that. I'm going to put this here with falling in love with yourself. Where you need to be. Acknowledge how you are feeling. Have faith. The universe will take care of a current concern by providing the best possible outcome for all involved. I'm going to put this over here with this dark energy. Safe and surrounded by love. Keep your heart open and know you are being protected. Listen to what you know to be true and allow yourself to see and understand what is going on around you. And convey your meaning. Reflect on the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Be sure to express your thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity. Okay, I'm going to put this here with the dark because I feel like this is something about falling in love with yourself. I don't feel there's another person here. I feel like this is you learning to respect yourself. So there's some kind of that dark energy in your life, not meaning demons or anything like that. I don't believe in that. But again, like manipulation of the nature of forcing change, right? So I'm not talking about voodoo dolls and stuff like that. I'm talking about forcing change. Like sometimes, for example, when we like another person, we really want them to like us back. So we people please, or we change ourselves, or we try to show them the best of ourselves and hide that, maybe the other person doesn't really show us interest. So we are not honest about how we feel about them because we don't want to seem needy or uncool. But maybe we're not really honest about it with ourselves either. So we're lying to ourselves saying, oh no, I'm not that interested in that person anyways, and that's a lie. So there's something here about being honest with yourself. And I feel like every time we people please, every time we lie to ourselves or to another person about how we feel about them, we turn our backs on ourselves, right? If we're not honest with ourselves, then we're turning our back to ourselves. We're leaving ourselves, right? If we can't be honest with ourselves, then we can't be a part of this world. I hope that makes sense. Like, then you're not in the world, then you're off the world. Like, a product of the world, because I have to change accordingly to other people to fit in. But if you're in the world, you're like, I do fit in. I'm a part of the world, right? So there's something about, it's such a heavy burden. I think there's a lot about people pleasing here. I'm going to do some shadows here. A lot about people pleasing, and that's a heavy burden. There's something you really need to, I'm not saying this as, being strict or anything, but you really need to step up on self-development and loving yourself. So you might be doing a lot of self-development, but you need to focus more on loving yourself. You need to focus more on respecting yourself, creating boundaries, realizing what it is that you need, because you're kind of you're playing yourself down and you're making yourself smaller to fit in. Maybe it's fitting into the world. Maybe it's fitting in a workplace. Maybe it's fitting in the family. Maybe it's with someone you're romantically interested in, right? Or a friend group, whatever it is. You're dimming your own light. And this reading here, your subconscious, right, from the deep, deep sea here, sea, water representing emotions, right? So from the depth of you, really want you to stop doing that. Stop fitting in. Yeah, be proud of who you are. I love the peacock because the thing is, I always say this, almost always say this when I get this card. Peacocks with that big tail, you are allowed to take up room and space. Because the thing is that this tail is flexible. So if someone else walks into you, you're not going to hurt them by taking up that space because it's flexible. So it's just going to bend, right? Meaning that you can be, and you are allowed to be, who you really are. You're allowed to take up space. It's not going to hurt anybody else. If it does, it's on them. It has nothing to do with you because you have this flexible tail feather. So wherever, if someone's pointing a finger at you, three are pointing back at themselves, right? That shadow work, it has nothing to do with you. That's boundaries. Realizing what is your thing and what is others' things. And I think that if you have a part of people pleasing is also that you are not standing strong in yourself, because if someone else is accusing you of something, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry, not realizing that it has nothing to do with you. It's again, it's shadow work. It's they're projecting something onto you because you're standing. Let's say you're the peacock, right? Standing in your light, and they're walking into your tail feathers, and it just brushes off. It's not they notice it, but it's not gonna hurt them. But maybe what is hurting them is like you're standing there proud with your tail feathers, and they can't do that because their tail feathers is like just small, right? And when they try to spread them, it's not really working. And so it's easier to say, you need to shut down your tail. Because if you do that, even though your tail is bigger, your tail feathers are bigger, when it's shut down, it doesn't take up space. And then they feel bigger because their small tail feathers is bigger now than you not showing any. Okay? So that's shadow work on their part. Them pointing a finger at you, you doing something wrong, is three fingers pointing back at them. It has nothing to do with you. You're not doing it wrong. So you need to realize that. Go get yourself a figurine or anything, or print out a drawing or a picture of peacock and put it on your fridge. Put it somewhere you see it, in your wallet or in your keychain, whatever. Making something that can how do you say that? That word just escaped me. Something that can keep you remembering that that you are allowed to spread your wings, right? And take up your space. And that's going to take time. You're not used to it, okay? So be compassionate with yourself. It takes time to learn how to take up room when you're used to being the wrong person, like something's wrong with you, when in reality there's not, right? So there might be something with going into looking at this darkness, something that you got from childhood, maybe. Who made you wrong when you were a child, where you're not allowed to be angry, where you're not allowed to be extravagant, where you're not allowed to be sad, where you're not allowed to be proud, whatever it is. Something here that you had to shut down because your family, there wasn't any room for you in whatever way, if you had this emotion or this quality about you. So you put that in the shadows, right? That's shadow work. That's shadow work, looking at what we need to bring forth again. So something is hidden inside of you that needs to come forth. Oh, I love this card. Imaginary. I love it that it's kind of the same colors in this scheme here, right? Loving yourself. I feel like that. Yeah, and I love that. This inner child, right? Loving your inner child, finding yourself again. I feel like there's a journey here, actually, and I'm feeling very, like, I can't even describe the emotions that I got right now. I'm very touched. I'm very moved. I feel the love. So it's kind of like there's a journey here of you rediscovering yourself, and it's a love story. That might sound corny, but really, yeah. You discovering yourself and just how amazing you are. And I'm sure I have a video about that. I have a pick a card video about let me give you a confidence boost. That's what it's called. Go take a look in the pick a card playlist. So let me give you a confidence boost. It's about me seeing the goods in you and what you've overcome already. So that would be a great video to help you see yourself. I'm sure I have other videos like that too. Go take a look. I think that would be good for you. So there's something about falling in love with yourself and your inner child here. Oh, again with the inner child, safe and calm. That's a child too. I love it. There's definitely something here. Definitely. Oh, you guys, I can't even explain this emotion. It's just like, I feel like, yeah, these two pictures, they all represent actually the emotion that I'm feeling right now. Calm, safety. You can only be imaginary. I would say you can only be imaginary if you're safe. That's maybe not true, because a lot of people, a lot of children start imagining things because they're unsafe, but the imagination makes them safe. Do you know what I'm saying? So this creates some kind of a room where you're safe and you're calm. A room within inside yourself. There is definitely a journey here, and I feel like when you start this self-loving journey and let go of all these burdens that has something to do with other people, then we get this rapid development, right? And to me, it's like she's torpedoing up from the bottom to the top and going towards the surface. Where you need to be. You need to move is what I'm feeling. So it's not necessarily a physical move, like maybe you don't have to move house, but you need to move in regard of, maybe it's a workplace, maybe it's you're taking a break from your family, maybe it's moving out of that relationship patterns when you're dating or in romantic relationships. You're safe and surrounded by love. I love that. I didn't even realize I put the safe card on the safe card here. But to me, the dolphins, again, with the inner child energy, right? Dolphins is such a playful energy as the inner child is. But it's telling me that from the other side, your angels and guides and loved ones who's gone to the other side, they're with you. They're here to try to create a safe space for you. So they're supporting you all the way and convey your meaning. I really like that. The Maureen, I think it's called. I'm not sure in English. But it has a ferocious bite. If you get bitten by this, it's not good. So I feel like there's something here about biting back, right? And they're very territorial as well. So being territorial about yourself, saying if someone's pointing a finger at you, you're like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. You need to move away from me, right? Setting a boundary, saying you need to leave my territory. I'm not taking that in. Whatever you're pointing my way, you can just spin right back around and walk out of the door. I'm not doing that. That's not for me. And that's difficult in the beginning because something from your childhood taught you that you aren't good enough, or you had to, make yourself smaller and not shine and not spread your tail feathers. And that's why you are matched right now to people in your reality that does the same, because that's how you feel. That's how you perceive yourself. I call it false truths because it's something that we learn. Usually a false truth is something like, I am unlovable, I am someone who's always being left, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. Like things we tell ourselves because we really feel it, right? And when we're sad, that's when we really feel it. That's when all the false truths comes to the surface, because they just stand in line when we're already dunking how do you say that? Dunking ourselves in the head. I think that maybe that was a Danish term I tried to translate, but being hard on ourselves. We're already being hard on ourselves, and then all these usual things stand in line. I'm not good enough. I'm blah 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 blah. And we really believe it when we're there, right? Because it's something inside of us that we do believe is true, because we've been taught this as a child, either because someone kept telling us, or because that's just a feeling, right? If there wasn't really room for you growing up, then you might have felt that you were someone who's in the way. That's your false truth. Maybe your parents didn't have the same love language as you that did, and so you didn't feel like they loved you, so you feel unlovable. That's your false truth. We have multiple false truths. I call them false truths because they feel true. They feel so true to the core because that's what we grew up with, but it's false. No one is unlovable. No one is deserving of being left all the time. No one is not good enough. That's how other people has made us feel. So we perceive ourselves in that way and we think it's true, but that is false. Okay, so I call it false truth. So yeah, there's definitely something here lifting that. I feel the energy is kind of like that heavy burden from the Ten of Wands, right? And job now moving forward is finding yourself, because there's this lover's journey with yourself, and I really love that. I know it sounds corny, but rediscovering yourself, and that's gonna make you fall in love with yourself. And I feel like that is even greater than falling in love with another person. It's so beautiful. I can't even describe the emotion that I'm having right now. It's so beautiful, you guys, because this person, falling in love with another person, you can always lose them. Falling in love with yourself is the most safe thing you would ever do. And because you will, once you've done that, you will never leave yourself again, because she will be the biggest love of your life. So corny, I'm sorry. That doesn't mean you won't fall in love with other people. I'm just saying there's a journey here and it's beautiful, right? And it's going within and it's healing the inner child and rediscovering yourself and getting rid of that bad, negative, manipulative energy, whatever it's outside of you, right? Yes. Okay. Finally, that's beautiful. I love it. That's all I had for you. If it resonated, please give the video a thumbs up so we can get out to more people who needs to hear this. Go check out my playlist with pick a card. So there might be something there for you, getting to know yourself. Yeah. So until next time, take care. Bye.